I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence.
All right, y'all. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're tuning in. I'm grateful to have you here. And just when you thought our country couldn't get any crazier, in steps Kiara Bridges, a far-left law professor at Berkeley. This should be interesting. Let's get it popping.
Before I want to visit with you, Ms. Matsky, but before I do, I just want to clear one thing up. Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
No,
So this
not.
isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of my line of questioning?
Because
so we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that
dangerous.
trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe
Oh
that
my goodness, be
men
quiet.
can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you? Or are they
real.
also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning.
class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
No thanks.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
Ms. Matsky, let me ask you something.
And I had to pause it, and I'm gonna throw it back because when I was a kid, which wasn't extremely long ago, I'm only 27, not to age any of y'all either, just being transparent, but a college professor like this lady supposedly is right here was to be admired, like a doctor, a lawyer. They had respect, they had to earn it, and now it's almost like anybody can become a professor and still have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. And once again, we're given proof that there is such thing as an educated fool. This woman we're seeing right here, Kiara Bridges, is cray-cray. And if she treats a senator like this, Mr. Josh Hawley, I believe the senator of Missouri, I feel sorry for her students. Like, good Lord, what in the world is her classroom like? She literally told him that he incites violence by asking a simple question about her field of research. The audacity of these people is remarkable. These far leftists are absolutely diabolically evil and insane. Simply put, we got a generation of young adults coming into positions of power and influence that have the mentality of a 16-year-old bickering back and forth with their parents. I gotta bring this thing back. My man Senator Josh Hawley was cool, calm, composed, precise with his point.
Opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of my line of
Because they're
questioning?
trying to
So we
change what
can't
God
talk
made
about
them.
it?
because
That's why.
denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm
is
denying that
dangerous.
trans people exist by asking
Are you?
if you're
Are
talking
you?
about women
Are you?
having pregnancies.
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't
Nope.
think women can
So
get
you are
pregnant.
denying that
can't.
trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you? Or are
Absolutely.
they also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning.
class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
Ms. Matsky, let me ask you something. So you provide health care to women free of charge, right? Is that right?
Absolutely,
You've done
free
this
of
for
charge.
many years.
Yep.
You have licensed medical professionals at your pregnancy care centers. Is that right?
That is correct.
And what are some of the resources that you provide for women who come to you in a time of need?
So-
Just give us you talked about it in your written testimony, but just give us a sense of it.
So we have 3 OBGYN doctors, 5 registered nurses, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, phlebotomists, medical assistants, and we provide prenatal care, OBGYN care. We provide pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, well woman visits, breast exams. We provide a wide range of medical services.
Got the whole squad,
So-
whole lineup.
What do you think about the DC politicians now saying that your clinic and the other 3,000 pregnancy care centers around this country are fake medical clinics. For instance, Senator Warren has said it's now more important than ever to crack down on so-called crisis pregnancy centers that mislead and deceive patients. Senator Menendez, crisis pregnancy centers jeopardize women's health and well-being, all while elevating unproven theories about birth control. Senator Warner wrote to Google asking them to censor search results for care centers like yours, saying directing women to fake clinics that traffic in misinformation is dangerous to women's health and undermines the integrity of Google's search results.
Poor Google.
Do you run a fake clinic? I mean, is that what's happening here? You don't provide actual medical care to actual women?
We absolutely do not run a fake clinic, and we have a full medical staff. Like I said, many of our medical professionals have experienced abortion for themselves, including our OBGYN doctor who used to perform abortions. So our entire medical staff is there for women, whether they choose abortion and walk out the door or whether they choose life for their baby, and we support them for years after that.
Do you think there ought to be an ideological test
be a thought
to be able to get medical care in this country? I mean, should we say to women, well, you have to agree with the DC Democrats' ideology, otherwise you can't go get medical care? Or maybe for you and the physicians who work at your pregnancy care center or the thousands of others across the country, should we impose an ideological test on them and say that, well, you have to agree with the DC Democrats' position on abortion or you can't provide medical care to women? Should we do that in this country?
Absolutely not.
I just want to ask in my few remaining seconds here, Ms. Hawley, the Dobbs decision, as I understand it, I've read it now a number of times, it gives to voters the decision as to what laws should be pertaining to life and pertaining to abortion in all 50 states and other jurisdictions around the country. I'm just curious, do you know what percentage of voters in this country support the DC Democrats' position that they want to impose on the entire country, a one-size-fits-all rule they want to impose from the top down? Do you know what percentage of voters support their position, which is also, by the way, the same position taken by North Korea and China, other notable violators of human rights? Do you know what percentage it is?
I know that nearly 90% of Americans oppose abortion in the third trimester. The number that would support abortion up to the moment of birth has to be minuscule. It's a horrific policy.
Yeah, I mean, based on the most recent Harvard poll that was just released just a few days ago, it's less than 10% of voters say that they would support abortion into the final month of pregnancy, and yet that is the law that the DC politicians want to impose on every voter in America, to take this away from the people, take it away from my state, take it away from all the other states and the voters in the states, but impose this law uniformly that is not supported by 90% of the American people. Talk about anti-democratic. At the same time, they want to shut down 3,000 pregnancy care centers all around this country. That's radical. Thank you for being here.
Yo, that video, it was kind of scary because that woman was so convinced as a law professor of her views that she doesn't even realize how wrong she is, how far off the truth she is. Men can't get pregnant. You can't change the XY chromosomes, the genetic DNA, the biology of a person. And simply put, abortion is murder. So shout out to the lady, the blonde lady, I don't remember her name, no disrespect, but for being there in support of women that get pregnant, no matter how that happens. And some people are going to say the extreme cases of rape and incest, and we'll discuss that, but they're there supporting you. They know the effects negatively that abortion could have on a person. They have people there that used to perform them. And it's a disgusting thing going in there, pulling out the limbs. That's not a fetus, man. Once conception happens, there's a heartbeat. Once conception happens, that's a new set of genetic DNA that can never be multiplied into another. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can never be duplicated into the exact genetic code that God put in that womb. In no way, shape, or form. But the extreme radicals say, well, what about in the cases of rape or incest? Horrible and as evil as those things are, is killing an unborn baby the solution? Like, two wrongs don't make a right. And it's, again, adding a traumatic experience on top of the rape or incest that the woman already had. So she's going to look back somewhere down the line and say, you know what, that could have been a lawyer, a doctor, a professor, a president, could have been just another waitress, whatever it may be. It was a life. All life is valuable. And God knew that baby in the womb before it was even formed. So taking that is, in fact, murder. And it also is people don't think about this, but it could be a way of like a rapist covering up their crime, because consider this, like, for example, a minor gets molested and then goes out and has an abortion. Nobody ever knows if she was actually molested, and that can continue. And that's is disgusting. That same thing can continue. And abortion will never erase the pain of incest or rape or anything like that. It very well may add to it, though. And a child that's conceived out of either of those horrible sin-filled acts is no less value than you or I. And their life should be protected and honored and cherished just as you and I's are, or, you know, most of us value our life. I sure as heck do. Thank God for another day on this side of the grass. But the circumstances of conception should never determine the value of another human being. That baby is innocent, and they shouldn't be punished for the evil acts committed by his or her father. Period. And if y'all have been around my channel for a while, you know I base my life in the good book, the basic instructions before leaving earth. That's the Bible. Didn't grow up in it. I actually grew up on the left. I was extremely radical, grew up in that household, victim mindset, all that, until I was blessed by my wife and I saw how the world really operated. Capitalism is a beautiful thing. I know not everybody rocks with it, but once you get out in the real world, see how things really are going on, you can go out and make anything happen that you want to, and nobody has their foot on your neck like the media and society wants to paint that picture. It doesn't really operate like that, but I operate in truth. So I like to dish out a little biblical soul food and share the good news with people. So we're going to take it over to Jeremiah 29 verses 11 through 13. I like to read the ESV, English Standard Version. You could read whatever version you prefer, whichever one, you know, you build that relationship with the Lord easiest, how that word resonates with you. But Jeremiah 29, 11 through 13, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart. That's the Lord's word. So give that child a chance to build that relationship with the Lord, that everlasting peace and eternal love that is in Jesus Christ. No matter how bad you think you got it, Jesus took on the cross for all the evil in the world, for the rape, for the incest, for everything. So it's all going to be worked together for the greater good. But you got to allow that child a chance to thrive, a chance to come up out of that womb. And that life is valuable. So cherish it that way. Stop deeming it as a hassle, as a whatever it may be. Life is life, and we need to get that back in America and realize that fact. But hey, y'all comment your thoughts below. Let's keep this conversation rolling. Pray for Miss Kiara Bridges and anybody that supports abortion or transphobia or whatever it is. You can't transform it. Men, women, X, Y chromosomes, you can't change them. God made us in his image, and that's the way it is. No matter how upset and triggers you want to get, you can't change what God put on this earth. I love it. So again, y'all let me know your thoughts down below. If you rock with my channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all my videos. Share this video for a multitude of different reasons, if not for comedy, if not for just a warning to people out there that really think like this. We need to make society aware of what's going on and allow people to think for themselves and expose truth and show truth for people to walk in a direction and a path that's already been laid. Jesus Christ is the foundation. If he's not, hey, that house is going to come roaring down when the wind blows. I'm just saying, if you build your house on sand, if you build your life on a faulty foundation, eventually it's going to come crumbling down. And you wonder why these people commit suicide is because they have no sense of identity. They have no sense of truth. That's why they commit suicide. And Senator Hawley just asked a simple question, and she said, no, you're inciting violence. That's not the case at all. If inciting violence, you're for abortion, you're for somebody chopping off their limbs, changing their limbs, that's violent. That's disturbing. So you need to get over that mental illness. You need to get over that sin and start praying. You need to drop to your knees and realize who's on the throne. Stop looking at the phone, look to the throne. I say it time and time again, but I can rant on this thing all day long. If you want to support my channel and you appreciate me standing firm in the foundation of truth, you can always hit that thanks button. Has a little heart next to it on YouTube. You can buy me a coffee, donate on PayPal. You don't got to do anything at all. Just showing up. I'm grateful for the viewership. I love y'all either way. If you need to get a hold of me, Devin at dgibson.com, business opportunities, prayer, whatever it may be. All links that, products I use on a daily basis, brands that support me are in the description section. But again, I'm going to stop ranting at y'all. Set that over here. I'm praying for you. Until next time, I love y'all. Godspeed. I'm gone.